Hello there, and today I'd like to talk about what I think is one of, if not the best game you've never played. Life is Strange 2. But first, a little backstory. The year is 2016. You, a French video game developer, don't nod, and you're coming off of the unexpected success of Life is Strange, a game you made last year that won 6 of the 18 awards it was nominated for. You get to work making a sequel, and by 2018, you have a game that, much like the one before it, holds a deep, emotional story and likable, compelling characters. Only this time, it doesn't work. Now, before I get into the fate of Life is Strange 2, I'd like to take my time to talk about how good this game really is, and why it didn't deserve what happened to it. First, the story. Life is Strange 2 follows Sean and Daniel Diaz, two brothers who are on the run after an incident between them and a cop which led to their father, Esteban, getting killed. Shortly after, the two find out that Daniel can move things with his mind, also known as telekinesis, and it's up to Sean, who is the main character by the way, to make sure his younger brother learns the responsibility of his powers. Along the way, they meet all kinds of faces, but never stopping too long, with the end goal in mind of crossing over to Mexico. Second, the characters. First off, we have Sean, who, on the course of his tumultuous journey, grows from, well, to put it lightly, a bit of a dick, to one of the best big brothers that someone could ask for. And throughout the game, he remains an immensely relatable protagonist, with all kinds of flaws, as well as a lot of good things too, and not to forget his love for drawing. Second up, there's Daniel, who goes from a bratty, snot-nosed kid that can barely keep his powers in check, to an unstoppable force. Well, he's still a brat by the end of it all, but a better one. As well as a plethora of likable side characters, such as Brody, who's just Seth Rogen in a video game. The grandparents, a pair of traditional but understanding old folks. Finn, the most pot-headed pothead to ever pot. Cassidy, who is just Girl Finn. Lisbeth, who has to be one of, if not the worst character in fiction, but in a good way because she is a great villain. And even the boy's own mother, Karen, who left the two when they were little. But what I think makes this game one of the best games I've ever played is how the story is told. Almost all of it is shown from the brother's perspective, so most, if not every moment in the game is intimate and personal, leaving no room to spare for unimportant subplots. The setting is always on the move, with a fresh place and new people in every arc, so nothing feels like it overstays its welcome. And the story is big on making decisions, but unlike a lot of choice-based games, where the things you do don't really matter, Life is Strange 2 is one of the few ones out there where your actions will have consequences. But what really sells the story is that amidst all the changes, Sean and Daniel stay true to each other. And that's the beauty of their relationship, their dynamic, their brotherhood. So then, why did this game fail? Okay, so before I go any further, I'd like to say that by failure, I mean that it sold poorly and that most fans of the Life is Strange franchise dislike it. But critically, it did pretty well, as did most installments. Now, as to why it got such a lukewarm welcome from the fanbase, two things come into play. One, the political thematology. You see, the game takes place around Donald Trump's first term as the United States president, and so there's a lot of themes regarding racism that were seen as forced and unrealistic. But to counter that argument, I want to ask, have you ever met a racist? Because they're not the most realistic of individuals. Nonetheless, said themes were taken poorly by fans of the first game. Two, and this is going to sound a little odd, but it's a man's installment in a woman's franchise. Allow me to explain. Life is Strange's player base is made up of mostly women, and all the games before and after Life is Strange 2 follow stories of womanhood. But Life is Strange 2 tells the story of two brothers on the run from the law, not exactly all that relatable in comparison to the first game's narrative, which follows a teenage girl finding her true self after learning she can bend time. Now, I'm not going to blame them because, well, why would I? If they don't like the game, they don't have to, and that's okay. But I think that if this kind of game was published under a company like Telltale or Quantic Dream, people wouldn't have had such a problem with it. Now, I like the game because A, it's the first one I played in the series, and B, I played it with my older brother, so him and I felt a deep bond to the characters on screen. But it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl, or if you have siblings or an only child, I'd still tell you to pick up a copy of this game, because it is worth playing. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I'd greatly appreciate it if you liked and subscribed, and until next time, stay tuned.